joined by probably one of my oldest friends in the streaming industry, not age-wise.
Long-standing.
Yeah, long-standing. Holy hell. Mr. BikeyMrown, content creator, streamer. Basketball or golf? What's that? I feel like there's one sport you really like
both.
doing. Okay.
Golf is, I probably more publish more golf.
Just straight up athlete of a human being. And yeah, so thank you seriously for taking the time to do this. There's a million things you could do, so I appreciate you taking the time.
No, thank you for having me.
Of course. So starting it off, super easy. What got you into streaming? What got you into content? Walk me through that.
Where do we start? So a little bit about me. My background is actually in engineering.
Okay.
And, yeah. So I was working. I've been an engineer, graduated, and I'm a little old. So 2014, graduated from college, was doing engineering. And then like most content creators, probably maybe it relates to you as well, but around the COVID period when COVID hit, we decided to, well, I've always actually, I guess I could take it back a little bit. During like Fortnite and then Apex Legends, I would stream from my like PlayStation 4 with like a little box cam on the top right. And
nice.
They had like the PlayStation thing. I'd stream straight to like Twitch or YouTube. And I started out that way, but it was only more for like hobby. It would honestly be just me and my own chat on my phone.
Nice.
Just checking to make sure I could read comments if it shows up. And then maybe like a friend or two would drop by, usually the ones I'm playing with. And then, so I would do that just for fun, just after work, because I'm always playing video games. And then right around when COVID hit, we had a furlough at my work, which basically means they kind of, due to the reduction of work and the situation, they like shut down the shop for like a week or two here at a time. And since I had extra time on my hands and I was kind of, I guess you could say, missing on my social, what do you call it? Like my social, missing on my social interactions. My social meter was lower just due to COVID, just like it was for probably a lot of people. Video games kind of came to the forefront of all the activity I would do outside of work, basically, or hanging out with Ashley or our dogs. And then I started watching streams. And before, I used to not even think about, like, I was like, why would I want to watch somebody playing a video game? Like, I want to play the video game. Yeah. I was like, probably how a lot of us start, and probably even those that are watching right now, it's like I want to be the one playing the video games. But I was like, man, how did they get their, like, how do they do all this cool stuff with like their little, they got their camera like in a position here, and they got all these little banners and all these like cool things, and they're changing scenes. I was like, man, this is like a full production here. And I was like, man, if I'm gonna do this again, or like, cause I'm just casually, just directly from my PlayStation. And I was like, man, if I'm gonna do this again, I want to actually, take it seriously and try to do it the right way. So I just being like the nerd that I am, I just went head first into like YouTube and like learning every little thing about it that I could, just because I was so intrigued by how somebody can play video games and broadcast. I wasn't thinking about anything about money, because I was like, I have a pretty good job. I was like, everything was good on that end. And me, I was just more infatuated with the idea of learning something new and the video games and trying to cross that over. So when COVID hit and I had some more free time on my hands due to the furloughs and, people getting sick, I worked in manufacturing. So a lot of my work had to be on site at my workplace, basically. So when I had to spend more time away from that, then I felt it would just engulfing myself with anything stream related. And then I started the brand BikeyMrown, which if those of you can guess, my real name is BikeyMrown.
Oh my God, no way.
You know, just in case
Jesus.
people didn't know, you know.
That threw me off. Holy shit. All this time, I feel like you've been living a lie.
Yeah. And then while I was at work, so Ashley is my fiance, Sincerely Sunshine Cat in the chat, and I was at work and we both love giraffes, and she calls me kind of like her giraffe because I'm like a foot taller than her. I'm like about 6 foot, and she's 5 foot, and I reach all the tall things for us in the household, or when we're, you know, I'm just the giraffe assistant. So then when I was at work, I was just thinking about streaming too, even when I was in the office, and I was like, I drew out this like robotic, weird looking giraffe thing. I hand drew it onto a piece of my notes on my engineering workbook. I brought it home, and then Ashley, she has a background in kind of graphics. So she turned it into an actual like little logo. I was like, all right, cool, that's it. And I'm gonna go with BikeyMrown. And then decided to just make all the social media pages and just dive in head first. And start, and then Warzone had just came out too at that time. It was about March, April of 2020. So started playing Warzone in March when it came out, kind of, and then so I left like Apex. When I first started streaming, though, I was streaming between like mostly like Apex Legends or Warzone, and it was just with my buddies that I play with every night. It's just like, you know, oh yeah, my friend's live. So then, you know, we're all thinking we're cool. We're just like, hey, what's up, chat? Like,
nice.
You know, like the typical like thing. And then you'd have like, you know, 1 or 2 people pop in here and there, like your friends, your close friends on it in real life. And then you're just like, well, dude, we're kind of doing it. And then it started with just sorry if I'm kind of hopping around the place. I'm a little scatterbrained.
Keep talking. You're great.
It started with basically my PlayStation 4 that had just gotten, maybe I think the Christmas prior, I think my sister got me. And then I had an old gaming laptop that I used to do like CAD work, which is basically if you've ever seen like 3D modeling on
yeah.
I would use it for that and for 3D printing, which is another hobby of mine. And then I decided to get a capture card. I had the PS4 that sounds like a 1995 Rice rocket blowing its engine out in the back. And then I had a Blue Snowball microphone. It's a good microphone, I guess, of that time, like for recording stuff. But I had no idea how to filter my mics, and it was just so loud because the PS4 would be blowing, the fans would be blowing everywhere. It took over our master bedroom, a little corner in it, and just set up shop in there with like one monitor and a TV. And yeah, that's kind of how it started. And Ashley was pretty much helping me make like little graphics for posts. I was like, oh yeah, I got, you know, like, you know, I'm starting at 0, right? But obviously at the beginning, all my friends and family are all following me. So it's like, oh yeah, I got like 200 followers. Like, let's go. Like, you know, you're just kind of like juiced because you, especially, and anybody that's ever started streaming, they might have flashbacks. Like, you're kind of like really into it. And you're like, oh man, I'm really doing this thing that I was watching and admiring for a while. And yeah, I kind of just started there, I guess. Yeah, back in April of 2020. So it's been 3 years and 3 months.
We started at the exact same time. That's wild.
Yeah.
So
well, maybe
what was the driving factor in wanting to do it? Because you mentioned that it was something exciting. There was a bunch to learn about. But what made you want to be the person playing the game? What made you want to be in front of the camera and do that?
I've always been pretty I'm pretty social. I'm pretty good in person when it comes to talking with people and being social. I do have kind of like my own I guess I don't call it a speech, maybe a speech impediment, or like my own kind of like stuttering. I tend to think very far ahead of the words that come out of my mouth.
Nice.
And even in college, it was worse. I held off taking public speaking. So public speaking is like one of the like the basic, you know, first year classes you have to take, and I held it off until the last second, until like my third year of college. And I remember before I did my first shot, my first speech.
We can talk about your drinking too if you want.
Yeah. Before I did my first speech in that class, I was so nervous to talk in front of people that I was drinking heavily, and I think I even smoked like a cigarette before I even did my first speech in
I can't tell if you're joking. Are you
class.
serious?
I swear to God, I'm
what?
Super, my anxiety was just that high to talk in front of people. I can make casual conversations, but anything structured, if it's structured and it's like, obviously it got better, afterwards, and then in real life work, I had to, present for any engineering projects I'm doing. But improv is a little bit easier, I think, for me, like to just kind of talk on just reacting to like what's going on and more in person. But if it's like all eyes on me, I get really, really shy. So I think that streaming, back to your question, kind of streaming was an opportunity for me to stay close to my friends that were also locked down during COVID. I was already playing games every day anyways. I talked to Ash about it, and she said, go for it, of course, because she's the awesome, supportive person that she is.
Love it.
And then I think it was also an opportunity to help me kind of step out of my shell more a little bit. I didn't necessarily care for the cam on, but I didn't consider doing not cam because I was just like, I want to have the cool, like, layout. I'm not going to have anything if it's just a game showing. And then, I honestly started it more for keeping in touch with families, friends, meeting new friends during the lockdown, and combining that with my love of video games and wanting to kind of better my presentation skills.
Really? Was there any relationship to the better of presenting of your presentation skills? Was there any driving factor in that affecting your engineering, or when you started streaming, was there already the idea that this was something you wanted to pursue with potentially more passion than engineering?
At first, probably not. I actually have ADHD. I got
Me
diagnosed
too.
late. Yeah. I got diagnosed super late though. I didn't get diagnosed till actually right before I went full time.
Oh, gee, I was officially diagnosed like less than a year ago.
Yeah. So we were pretty close then. Yeah, I was maybe like 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago. Shit, what were we talking about?
I don't know. That's great. Well,
ADHD.
Even ADHD. Was that something that you had the idea of ADHD been brought up to you before in different capacities? Or was it the introduction of streaming that kind of shone the light on that aspect of you?
No, I think I've had it for a while, but it kind of progressed more, I think, the more I kind of got into the streaming, because it's like, I feel like the people that do have ADHD, you either can't focus on anything or you are dialed in on one thing.
Yeah.
Pretty hard. And streaming was like, getting kind of like getting super into the streaming stuff really made it hard for me to focus even at work.
Yep.
Because I was at work and all I could think about was like, oh man, how can I improve this? Like, how the hell do you use Streamlabs? Like,
nice.
or any of those things. And that kind of, I think doing the streaming though, I wasn't expecting necessarily to go full time into or have it take over engineering, just because it's such a large pay gap basically between the two, as far as like, it's a totally different lifestyle. But I think the more that I did it and the more connections I made, the more people I met, it definitely started to turn the tide for me probably about a year into it, where I was creating these relationships with others via the internet, that was once upon a time kind of not necessarily frowned on, but like people kind of thought it was weird.
Yeah.
But to me, they were genuine. Every single person that I came across, and I truly felt like I was building something that was bigger than myself, and I was getting way more fulfillment from the streaming than I was from my own engineering job. Look back on my engineering job, I would make carbon fiber parts for like military aircraft. Couple other jobs, like some of them are involved in, you know, some are doing UAVs, reconnaissance. Others are, for lack of better words, blowing up people. And I kind of was like in a, I guess, a rock and a hard place as far as like my intentions on doing that long term. At least for depending on what kind of projects I would get. It kind of flip and flop depending on what projects I get. If I got projects that were just, purely parts, I was even making bidets for
What?
Gulfstream private jets. They're made out of fiberglass. Yeah, like for these, millionaires, billionaires making their making the engineering for their toilets.
So you really took a pay cut.
Jeez.
Oh
no. To do
to stream. Jeez.
Yeah. But the thing was, though, is at the time that I decided to leave, like I've always been the type to kind of encourage both myself and Ashley and those around me that matter. Like at the end of the day, you really only have one life to live, and fortunately for me, like I kind of got my baseline. Like for me to say that engineering is my baseline is probably the most fortunate situation I can have, other than like I inherited millions of dollars from somebody.
Yeah.
So having that to fall back on, being smart with our money. We got very fortunate during COVID. We actually bought a house in San Diego like right before COVID had hit, like the December before. And that ended up helping, obviously. The mortgage was ridiculous because San Diego.
I was going to say.
Well, now we live in Vegas. I'll get to that a little later. But, just we kind of, it was a calculated decision. So about a year in, I decided, like I truly had way more fulfillment doing the streaming and the content over what I was doing at the moment. And I felt that, as long as I don't burn any bridges, that, what's the harm that can be made by kind of making the leap. And we made that leap 2 years ago, actually, in June of 2021. So we made it pretty fast. We're still not that big. And probably a lot of people probably wonder, like, how the hell is this guy sustaining full time with, like his size comparable to majority of others? And that's from streaming on Kick.
Yeah, I mean, you're not lying though. You're not lying.
Well, Facebook had 100%, right? So
yeah.
like Facebook, a lot of people talk down on Facebook. Obviously, the last probably year and a half on Facebook has kind of been unfortunate, but for a lot of us, including probably yourself and other Facebook creators, it really helped us establish kind of a baseline for us, with them giving us 100% of web subs.
Yep.
And what is it, 70% of
mobile
subs. So like that was actually a game changer for Facebook back then. It just wasn't magnified or announced as, I guess, frequently on the timeline or Twitter feed as most don't know, because they didn't take Facebook seriously.
Yep.
But yeah, so being able to, like, just seeing that I was actually making an income from it and kind of projecting it forward, along with, saving a bunch of money from my primary job, actually saving up her money. Yeah, we decided to just, take the leap and do it full time, just because I truly love doing this, and I truly love connecting with people and having conversations with the ones in my community and new people as well.
I love that. What was that? So for that year, from the April of 2020 to June of 21, what was the work-life balance for you? What was your stream schedule? Did you have a stream schedule? Were you prioritizing offline content at that time? Kind of what was the beginning of BikeyMrown's journey with balancing all of that stuff?
I was purely doing streams at first. I would post clips. This was like probably just on the cusp of like kind of short form taking off. So all my clips were, just what you're seeing right now, like widescreen.
Yep.
YouTube format, but it's like, like 30 seconds to a minute of like, so I was posting clips, and I was streaming 3 times a week. Like I would get home from work, like let's say it'd either be like Monday, Wednesday, Friday usually, and I'd rush home from work. Like work would be trying to keep me late. I'm like, nope, I did my hours. I'm out.
Nice.
Got to get home, stream by 6 o'clock, and then I stream from like 6 to like 10 p.m. California time, 3 times a week. And then on, Tuesday or Thursday, I get home and I'm like, oh man, I got that clip the last night before. So I had to learn how to edit videos too. So, it was another kind of like part of the process. So I got put on like DaVinci Resolve, which is like a free software for anybody that's looking to edit. I use Premiere Pro now, but that's only because Ashley has like a Adobe like suite membership thing. So we both use that. And yeah, I'll just, find clips, cut it. And I was really intrigued with like trying to throw in like captions and memes and stuff like that. So I was doing that throughout the first year. And then doing like, like we actually launched merch probably like a few months in, which is kind of probably, I don't know if too many people do it that early. But I ordered a bunch of iron-on patches of my logo from some company. I don't know. I just Googled it probably. And I bought a bunch of blank hats and I started selling those and I would iron them on myself.
What?
Yeah. So anybody that bought one or my friends, I'd just be like, yeah, man, here. And then like whenever the order comes in, I iron it on. We had like a whole little box station and packing it all. Obviously, third party has become a lot easier now just because as time goes by. But at the beginning, I was doing that. Every single new sub, or when I first unlocked subs on Facebook, probably about 7 months in, maybe, before I went full time, but like 7 months into streaming, I remember for the first 100 subs that I had, I handwrote a letter and put a sticker on every single one and mailed it to each
No
person.
way.
And I was doing this while working full time too. So like, actually could vouch. It kind of, there were some tough times as far as like, kind of managing my priorities, right? Because obviously I was so infatuated with the streaming stuff. So like outside of at work, I'm doing my work, but I'm also thinking about the streaming. I leave work, I'm either streaming or working on this thing. And then it's like, hey, like, where's the time for, you still got to make time for your significant other or your dogs or anybody at your home, so it was a really tough balance. There was some rocks and or I guess some bumps on the road, but I was so kind of in love with the growing process, in love with learning all of it, that I just did what I had to do to kind of, I guess, please my own expectations.
What would you say was the most difficult part of all of that?
The most difficult part, obviously, I think, is just trying to balance your time outside of that. Just like balancing my time with family or Ashley or the dogs, and just kind of maintaining a healthy life outside of, because you could call them both work technically.
Yep.
At some point, even if you're passionate about it. But I kind of go in my stints. I was the same way with like my golfing and stuff like that too, because at one point I aspired to be a pro golfer, so I was just spending hour after hour out and about. So I think it's good to have the tough part really is just having a balance with what you're in love with, what you're infatuated with also with your personal life outside of that.
How did you end up finding that balance? Do you feel like you have a good balance now?
Yeah, actually, yeah, we have a pretty good balance. Well, so Ashley, or since there's sunshine in the chat, she streams as well. She started dabbling with it, I think, a little over 2 years ago. So she started maybe right before I went full time. She started, and just to try it out, because she was actually doing artwork at first. So she does art. She was, painting, drawing, stuff like that. So
Nice.
like, yeah, you want to give it a shot, we could do it, and then so she tried that out. She ended up building a community pretty fast. And then obviously with me having a community kind of established, it kind of helped like get it jump started, and then just she just spread her wings.
Nice.
And she started hitting it off. And at the time she was doing her own work in graphics. And she, fortunately, when I made the jump, obviously we saved a good amount of our money. We don't really spend too much. We're not too materialistic, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And then we kind of calculated it, and she really wanted to try, so I was like, sure, like let's both do it. And then so we've actually both been full-time for about 2 years now. And we ended up selling our home in San Diego about April of last year. April, I think. Yeah. And then we moved out to Las Vegas to kind of reduce the, I guess, expenses.
Yeah.
Living in California is very expensive.
Oh, yeah.
As you know, because you moved from North Hollywood to
Colorado
to Denver, right?
Yep.
So it's like, you're cutting down your expenses. We're making all the decisions to try to give this thing or this passion of ours an opportunity to succeed. And luckily, we made some money on the home to help kind of extend that. And yeah, that really just brings us here. I think now that we both do it, we kind of have alternating schedules. So I usually stream on like Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. She usually does now Sunday, Tuesdays, Thursdays. So we're both able to kind of like mod for each other, or like, help out or support when the other's quote unquote working. And then outside of that, we've really made it a habit. Even more, we've been probably hitting our stride a little bit even better recently, because we've been getting to the gym. So we get a lot of quality time together, just because we work from home. We go to the gym together. We hang out with the dogs together. We eat together. So like, there's been a lot of good, I guess, mental and just straight health benefits from us doing this compared to our previous, I guess, lives, working in 9 to 5s. And that's honestly irreplaceable to me.
That is making me want to vomit with jealousy. That's so great. Like, that's so, I love it's.
We want to be like you.
I mean, it'll happen. It'll happen. You guys already have each other's love, so the last thing you need to be is jacked and in love. That's just not fair. What? That's so. I find it so interesting, especially within entertainment or more creative avenues. I feel having a partner of like-mindedness is so important, because if you have someone who does have a typical 9 to 5 and you're a creative and you're trying to stream, if someone doesn't appreciate or really understand that world, it can be difficult to sort of have them like learn to understand it. So the fact that both of you have found your home and your passion in content, what has been the hardest part about navigating that as a couple?
Well, yeah, like what you said is correct, because like when I first started doing it, obviously Ashley had no clue what the hell I'm doing. She's like, this guy's just playing video games every night after he comes home from work.
Yeah.
And now he's got this other hobby where he has to put additional work in to make his video games look good for other people or something. And so, I think once she started doing it too, once she kind of saw my passion in it, and once she tried it herself, I think that definitely helped both of us relationship wise. What was your question again? Sorry.
Just like what's been the most difficult part of having a partner in content creation, or has it been relatively smooth for the both of you now that you both have kind of worked it out?
I don't know if it's difficult with both of us being. I mean, I guess the only thing you can say that's difficult really about content creation is trying to keep a roof over your head and keep food on the table. Honestly, that goes with everybody's jobs. You know, like the only thing is that in content creation, you know, we rely heavily on those that individuals that support us, and it's not like we don't have a payroll or anything. Some people might have been fortunate. You know, some people, you know, obviously the 0.001 percenters, you know, they land contracts of some sorts, but for the majority, every single creator is relying on their community's kind of, I guess you could say, subscription or donation. Obviously, the next step to get there, you know, every creator would love it if they didn't have to rely on their community to help them remain full-time, or let them do this, because at the end of the day, they're doing this because they love it. Majority of creators are doing it because they love it. You know, it's not like, you know, when one quits streaming, that it's because they, you know, hate their community and just like give up.
Oh yeah.
It's just, you know, sometimes we have to make sacrifices in order to kind of continue doing what we love doing. But I think, yeah, probably the most difficult part is probably just budgeting. But between me and Ashley, no, honestly, this is probably the most time we get to spend together. Period. Even though we're actually, the home that we got here in Vegas. We have, each of us have our own like kind of studio room per se.
Nice.
But we could literally yell. I could yell through the wall right now, and Ashley would hear me. We kind of like, we're kind of like, even though we're at our PCs doing our own thing, probably like, you know, 10 plus hours a day, we still feel connected because it's literally just a wall between us. And like, you know, and at any moment where we have the opportunity to kind of step out the door and just knock and come in or whatever. So we're very fortunate of that. I think we don't want to take that for granted because, you know, not too many people get to spend as much time together as we do. Even though majority of the time we are working, we are doing our own thing a lot of hours of the day, but just being able to have that connection, I think, has been a really positive thing for our relationship.
Dude, that's so adorable. I love that so much.
Sorry, I talk about relationships.
Dude, no, that's one of the things I wanted to ask, because I even see that you guys, it's what was my question before? Oh yeah, and then I'll get to that. So when you are not, because you only mentioned you both are pretty much only streaming 3 times a week, besides modding and supporting each other, what do your off stream days look like? Are you mostly focused on editing? Do you take more time for you and just relaxation?
So yes, that's actually a tough question, and this is where I'll probably get into the weeds of like anybody that's ever thought about going full time. If one thing that's been very difficult for me, Ashley's really good at it. She's really good at making clips and everything. I don't know if it's just my ADHD. I don't have healthcare, so I don't have medication for it or anything.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like, being able to kind of be disciplined outside of your streams is probably the most difficult part, I think, of content creation, because you have to still make it a work day. You know, honestly, probably if I were to recommend anybody, it would probably be, you know, you probably should be 80-20, 80 working on, you know, your craft, your clips, everything outside of stream, and then, you know, 20% streaming, or even 50-50 at least.
Yeah.
The thing is that it's difficult because a lot of us, I'm sure you could say it as well, is like, we enjoy this portion of our stream, like of our career.
Yes.
We love the streaming part. We love, you know, keeping up with chat, talking to everybody. It's very, when the camera turns off, you know, it's about what are you doing when the camera turns off, and you're technically off the grid, all those other hours, and that's kind of an area that I struggle still to this day. I kind of have spurts of, you know, clips here and there. I wish I was better at them. Some, I've tried out editors too here and there. Being able to be a content creator versus a streamer has still been kind of I would say, is a difficult jump for me. Even though, I obviously, just based on, time itself, the content is flowing out, but maybe not the consistency that I had maybe imagined prior to going full time.
Okay.
But yeah, I think outside of the streaming, I'm usually either going through clips, editing when I could get myself to, and then or we go to a gym. I like to play golf. So sometimes I haven't golfed in a few months. Going golfing tomorrow, actually.
Hey, there we go.
So yeah, golf's a very time-consuming sport.
Oh yeah,
in Joe, because like one day out of golfing is literally like 5 hours, 6 hours every day. And then if I'm not doing either of those things, then I'm usually, keeping in touch with friends, watching streams myself and chatting it up or lurking in there. But yeah, I think the main thing that I've been trying to get better at, which I've still been working on, is really to be able to, on let's say the Tuesdays and Thursdays that I'm not streaming, to really dive into the clip work and the editing. Starting to do YouTube videos finally. It took me like two years. So started doing some YouTube videos. I think a lot of us probably deal with, I guess, some sort of imposter syndrome or some sort of kind of like you're in your own head thing, to where you have so many ideas and so many things that you want to do, but you never, it's really difficult to just decide one and just go and kind of attack it, because you kind of want all things going at once. But usually when you have so many things that you want to do and you don't prioritize one thing, you end up doing nothing. And
it's fair.
It happens, but still working on that.
What is that content process for you like? Are you, because I know you're a sweaty fucking human when it comes to Call of Duty. So are you going into your streams thinking, I want to get these sort of clips, or do you sort of stream and then use what happens, find something that has a common thread, and then put that out as content?
So I think that's a really good question. I think that everybody should actually, anybody who's interested in content, or anybody that's listening to this, if you're doing any content, my mindset changed over time. It's still hard to do it sometimes, depending on like I think it's if you solo stream or if you squad stream with people, right? So like, or if you stream with others, because when you stream with others, you kind of got to have them on board. Like, hey, this is what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
like for you, for example, say, hey man, I'm running Cali Sticks and freaking Riot Shield all day, just so you guys know. So like with like new guns and things like that, at first I used to just be kind of like, oh, this is a cool thing that happened in my game. But over time, I've been trying to strategize a little bit more. And honestly, the best method to go about it, which I know because this is what you do, is going to the stream. You already know what kind of content you're going to make. So you're, when you're recording it, for the most part, more times than not, you know what the goal of today's stream is going to be, right? Like, yeah, today is my first day in GTA RP. Yeah. Let's see what fucking crazy shit happens right now. Like, that's a title in itself. That's standalone. Obviously you're hoping that you get a few cool instances or interactions that you're like, oh shit, yes, this is going in. Like, you still have to be, obviously the random natural occurrences that happen that are just straight funny are genuine or are super great. But from a content creator standpoint, you do have to manufacture some things. You do have to create the content. And if you're going into your stream and you're just like, I'm just gonna have fun with my friends today and play, it's gonna be really hard for you to get clips or get recordings out of that versus like, hey, today I'm only using these broken snake shots and I'm gonna clip every person I kill.
Yep.
Like, so it's I kind of bounce back and forth because it just depends kind of like on the content day. And then there's other days where I'm just like, hey, I just want to, like I'm learning mouse and keyboard right now, trying to be a legend. Like,
Are you really?
And yeah, I'm learning Valorant, dude, and CS:GO.
Oh, that's right.
So, but I've been doing more of that off stream. But like
that's fair.
So, and I stream it a couple times, but like this one's more like, hey, this is just me practicing gaming and casually conversating with everybody. So there's no video to be unless I catch some crazy clip. But obviously, I'm just learning. So it really just depends on how you wanna kind of write up the script per se for you to attack. But I think that having a strategy that you are kind of pre-planning before you do your streams does make it way easier for you to produce the content afterwards. Because I noticed that when I just play, even if I clip while I'm playing and I get all these clips, they kind of just sit in my folder and they never, if I don't edit them immediately after stream, they're kind of like forgotten of and they're just kind of, fade off into the distance versus like something that I already knew I was going to go for going into the stream. I actually do it and I execute it. I'm already kind of got momentum to where I'm like, oh man, right after stream, I'm going to freaking edit this thing and get it out there.
I was going to say, do you struggle with your motivation to do those edits?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be, it just depends. Cause like, so some of it's skill based on like, like, hey, you obviously, all of us watch other people's content too. Sometimes I wish I watch less, just because, I feel like the more you watch kind of other people's content, even though you enjoy them and everything like that, it kind of either maybe just for me, it kind of like man, damn, I can't do that, or like man, like or you might see something like, oh shit, I was gonna do exactly that, and then like like you don't want to kind of like spoil your or like soil your own creative mind. So I think one thing I wish I did sometimes is watch a little less, because I think that sometimes when I watch, just being in the creative space, when you watch stuff, you kind of maybe it's just me. I tend to like get in my own head and like kind of second guess what I was going to do to begin with. When if I would have just went straight to it, then I would have gotten it out there and it would have had its own kind of it would have been me basically versus like potentially influenced by external content or just me thinking down about my own content or something like that.
Interesting. So there's almost a relationship between your ability to enjoy content and then it gets to a point where you start to then judge or critique or feel some type of way about your own.
Correct. I wouldn't necessarily say you're comparing yourself to others. I think it's just more of like, it's not necessarily comparing. I would say it's more of influencing my own creative thoughts to where I'm not, I don't feel original with what I had originally intended, and then it kind of like sidetracks me to like kind of like nah, never mind, I'm not gonna do that, or something along those lines. But I wouldn't necessarily call it like comparing myself, because I don't really. I've been doing this for 3 years now, so like
yeah.
I mean, and I'm where I'm at, and I don't ever think I deserve more or less. I think that I deserve to be where I'm at, and that I know the things like with my own internal dialogue. I know the things that I'm not doing. I know the things that I am doing. That that you may obviously you still want to observe others to learn and to take notes from others, those that you admire or look up to. But I think that at the end of the day, you just got to do, really, and that's probably the hard part for a lot of people, is just honestly is just throughput, because I could I've had shitty clips go viral, and I've had clips that I spent hours on do nothing, or
Yep.
reach nobody. I had a dumb AFK clip from Caldera where I landed AFK and I put like a reverbed version of Celine Dion on it, and it got like 2.4 million views on Facebook.
Nice.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is like another thing too is like because a lot of us we get kind of caught up in like algorithms, and like every platform has its own distribution pattern. So like let's say that video did 2.4 on Facebook, 2.4 million. I'm like, oh wow, this is a freaking hit. You check on YouTube, you check on TikTok, you check on IG, it's like 100 views here, 300 views here, and you're like, what? Like so, but that should be more power to you to tell you that honestly just keep creating and keep putting it out there. And I think a lot of times I just get in my own head and I just don't put enough out there to even give it the opportunity to get recognized. And that's why I don't really necessarily, I guess, consider myself ahead or behind on where I stand, I guess, in my growth.
So would you say that there is almost do you enjoy the act of editing? Do you enjoy that creative process? Or is it, because I remember you mentioned, just like, of course, the streaming is the most fun part to an extent. This is like the live interaction. That is what's awesome. But to say that the content creation or the editing, however you want to actually formally label it, is so important to your growth. Are there certain times where you do have the passion for that and you want to make the fun edits, or are you still at a point where it is sort of daunting?
I think this would be a good time to really pretty much kind of call it like the monster in the closet of like it sounds I get motivated for a lot of things, and maybe it's, I don't know if it's the ADHD mind, but like I could almost fulfill something through my head already with the idea with the clip, right? But then that sometimes might satisfy me, but if it never gets produced and exported out onto the interwebs, nobody else will get that satisfaction or even get the glimpse of it. And I think a lot of times I like to say to Ashley too, I'm like, yeah, I'm an idea guy,
bro. Yep.
Like being an idea guy is a tough spot to be, because you're I'll get infatuated like with some form of content that I really want to create and make it, and then I'll get halfway through it and my motivation wears off, and then my discipline doesn't kick in, and it'll never get done. And that's honestly the death of a creator right there. If you can't kick it to the end and get it exported and saved out. And I'll be one to say that I the ideas and getting going on a lot of things, I'm pretty good at that, but finishing a lot of things I am very not good at. and I'm trying to get better. I've also tried, but then when you try editors, you really have to have a lot of patience. I know you've worked with editors too.
Yep.
And you have to have a lot of patience to try to kind of get your style, because the majority of editors aren't in your streams as much as your loyal subs and stuff like that, so they may not understand the same humor or the punchline that you're trying to get through a video. Even if you describe out exactly how you want something done, it doesn't always come out that way. And in an ideal world, in perfect world, you're hoping that editor is like a clone of you, and that they're just cranking them out for you, and you're like, yeah, I fucking love this, like, every time. But it's a little bit, it's a balance. So like, I've tried to do editors because I'm like, I don't have the discipline to push these things through, so let's try editor. And then when you have an edit, and then you're like, okay, I'm getting things pushed through, but I don't like it.
Yep.
and then you're not trying to put the fault's not on the editor though. It's just they haven't had enough time to kind of, you have to give them enough time to mesh with you. So trying to find that balance, and it's like a lot of things, like if you want it done right or to your liking, you have to do it yourself, and just trying to um, discipline yourself to really push through and get it. Sometimes takes an extra kick in the ass to do, which is unfortunate sometimes because like we love streaming, we love doing it, but it's like that you have another gear in you, and that you can always do more. So sometimes you just kind of question yourself, like, why am I not doing more? But you kind of get into like a little mental circle of just kind of doubting yourself. And I think, that's just one thing I've always kind of circled back to and try to overcome. So I'll have stints where, I might crank out like 5 clips in one session, and I'll have content for a week, right? And then next thing you know, like a month goes by and I don't do nothing. So it's like, it's a cycle. It's a cycle. And obviously, when videos do good, you might be more motivated just naturally, just because you see videos doing good and you see like the fruits of your labor. When you feel like you work hard on anything and it doesn't come out maybe how you want it to, like that could be disheartening. But like the logical side of me, the engineering side of me is kind of like throughput.
Yeah.
You just need to get the throughput and just believe that the law of averages of just like a stock, right? Or anything, that any investment, no investment just goes straight up and, takes off, right? You gotta, the investment's going to go down and up several times, like, same thing with anybody's emotions, anybody's day at work. Like every day is different when you go to your, for those of you that are watching, like your day job, right? Like every day you're going to go into work and be like, this guy fucking ruined my day. Or your boss is gonna praise you and you'd be like, fuck yeah, like this is a good work day. Like so the same thing happens in the creative space where, some days we're shitting on ourselves because we see metrics and we think that we're doing something wrong, and other days we're like, oh shit, I don't know how that video did good, but hell yeah, like I'm gonna make another one right now. It's really just a roller coaster.
So
but I still love doing it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like you wouldn't be doing it if you didn't, especially with someone with ADHD. It's so impossible to do something if you don't like it. So that's what I'm wondering when it comes to that lack of motivation when you're doing clips. For me, my struggle becomes when I have an idea of how I want it to be in my head and I start and I don't feel I have the technical prowess or whatever tool I need in order to see it to fruition. Is that how it works for you, or what would you describe that lack of motivation or that thing that makes you stop being jazzed to edit that clip or work on that YouTube video? What would you say that is for you?
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's something like, or if it's because a lot of the things that we do, some we've never done before. Every clip is new. Every clip's individual. And, you might be trying to add something new to every clip because, you're thinking 1% better every clip over time.
Yep.
It's going to eventually become a great product, but there's a sense of friction to get over that hurdle that sometimes is just maybe too much mentally to overcome sometimes, and you kind of just shelf it just because you may not be able to do it. And maybe you don't have the motivation at the time to kind of push through it. It could be tough because I think the hardest thing, like, I don't know if you know, like the 2-minute rule.
Yep.
Or like, like for me, that's probably something that I need to implement more of, because for me, a lot of my friction is up front.
It's the start.
When it comes to anything.
Yep.
And like once I get going, like once I get past that 2 minutes or 5 minutes in, then I'm rolling. I could do it to completion. But I lock up a lot when it comes to just any task at hand. I think one area that I probably should get better at is organizing. I don't know if you have any. Do you have any? I'm not meaning to interview you, but what kind of tools do you use? I would like to know, to kind of keep yourself organized, or to maybe like outline your days or your work that you want to get done that you haven't gotten to?
Yeah, one of the things that works for me, and fortunately, fortunately, unfortunately, I'm spending money out the asshole just so I can have health insurance, so I could go to therapy and then have ADHD meds. But one of the things that I know is so important is schedule. So I wake up at the same time every freaking day. For me, Monday through Friday is essentially all the same. I have blocks of time pretty much from like 8 to 10:30 is blocked out to work on TikTok videos in the morning. Then I have a break at 10:30, start stream at 11, go 11 to 4 or 4:30. Then I have about an hour, another 15 to a half an hour break. And then I have another block for me to work on editing if I want to write more TikTok ads or whatever the hell I'm doing. I have that block from around 5 until 7. And then pretty much by 7:30, I want to be done working. And pretty much Monday through Friday, that's helped.
When do you gym?
Gym in the morning, yeah, to pretty much. And that's why it's like it is a schedule, but I'm also flexible enough where I can, like, I include those specific blocks of time because
like this.
Exactly like this. So I can have extra time to do this. Or if I don't want to go to the gym, like if anything, I'll do jujitsu 5:30 to 6:30 or 5:30 to 7:30, and then I'll go to the gym after. So let's say 7:45 to 9 or 9:15, come back, work on some videos, but then I know that I have a bunch of time on the back end to do. Or if I'm feeling inspired, maybe I'll just go to jujitsu until 6:30, and then I know that I have all of this free time until I have to start stream at 11. So it's a combination of having things that I have to do with also blocks of free time, because there's also certain days where I don't want to work. I don't have the motivation to. I don't feel like I'm going to produce anything great. So amazing. I'm going to sit on my couch from 8:30 until 10:30. And then maybe I might get a random idea that helps me become inspired to do that. And then I'll do it. But another thing is also, like, I set up a mini kind of like office in my living room. I have a desk out there. I have my laptop. I have a mic with a little impromptu like recording sound booth, I guess you can say. I took one of those old Target foldable drawers, put some styrofoam in it, and then I just have my Blue Yeti in there. And it takes all the noise out, so I can literally have Harry Potter on the TV. And it's just figuring out how my brain works. And it's like, if I can throw Lord of the Rings on in the background and work, I'm able to get shit done. And so having that schedule and just putting myself in a position to enjoy work more, I think, because I don't know about you, but there's certain instances where I can feel like, oh, I have to do X. I have to sit at my desk, or I have to be technically doing it this way. And then I realized, holy shit, because we have ADHD, we can just do things as long as we're enjoying it and we find a way to make it fun. It's going to be 50 times easier to do. So if I'm jazzed to go and sit on my couch with my little laptop tray and work on videos while I watch TV, that makes me so fucking happy. So it's going to make me more inclined to work. And then when it comes to my just like editing clips and stuff, I have my replay buffer for 2 minutes. I have a specific folder where all those clips go. I pretty much start and stop my recordings based on the type of content I'm going to be making. So it's like I have the entire 4.5 or 4 hours I did GTA separated, ended that recording, started this new one. So then I don't have to go back, cut and sort through the things, because it becomes so annoying. And I think kind of what you were saying, the act of actually starting it is the hardest part. So that's why I don't wait until the next day or even a few days typically to start organizing my clips. I grab a snack, I take a walk, and then I get it done right after, so that I know what I have. And then who knows, maybe some inspiration comes from, oh shit, I didn't realize I had those 3 awesome clips that I like. Cool, let's put that together. Let's do a voiceover. So just kind of tricking my brain into finding little more things that I can enjoy about it. And also what you're saying is building the habit of it. All those things put together have made it significantly easier for me to attempt to get shit done. Yeah, like really just scheduling shit out.
That's awesome. Yeah, and that's an area that I will pat myself on the back, because I have improved on it. It's still a long ways.
Nice.
But, it's in addition, yeah. basically you're trying to reduce the amount of friction to get something going.
Yep.
And honestly, the more organized you can be, the more it could be as simple as like. So, have you read the book Atomic Habits?
Yep.
By the way.
Yeah, that's actually I'm
Amazing
actually
book.
halfway through it, but it's in my living room.
Going to that, I read that one last year. I probably should reread it this year. Yeah, like let's say for example, every morning when let's say I wake up, I end up being on my phone for like half hour or whatever, like, you know, scrolling through DMs or Twitter timeline and checking socials. So let's say I wanted to eliminate that bad habit. So then we end up changing our gym time to be as soon as we wake up, me and Ashley. And let's say we want to make the gym a nice routine every morning, like how you do, let's say Monday through Friday. So I literally go to sleep in my gym attire.
Are
I
you
have
serious?
My socks, practically. I probably change a shirt, but like I pretty much have my basketball shorts on. I leave my socks right next to my bed. Sometimes I'll even have my pre-workout made in the cup already, so I can't say no to it because I'm not gonna dump out pre-workout. That's money.
Oh yeah.
So I have that pre-workout already pre-made. As soon as I wake up, I just chug it and I'm like, we're out. Let's go. And you know that saved me 30 minutes a day of being on my phone in the morning. You know, or like the goal or I guess the ideation around Atomic Habits is trying to reduce the friction for things that you want to do in your day or things that you want to kind of, you know, activities or tasks that you want to get done during your day or habits per se, and create more friction on the things that you want to quit.
Yep.
So for example, I've gotten a few stints. I still do it here and there, but like, let's say for example, vaping, for example, right? I want to quit vaping. So, you know, I have a vape at my desk here and I'm you know, I'm streaming, I'm whatever, you know, smoking, whatever, all that stuff. But like, you know, I want to stop it. So the first thing I did was, okay, I'm gonna put my vape in a drawer across the room. Now it's like, oh man, chat's gonna see me get up and go across the room and go into this drawer to get this vape in order to do it. So now I'm less inclined to do it because I made it more difficult. And just like with anything, like if you're trying to reduce doing something or you're trying to build something or a habit, trying to make the friction greater on things you're trying to quit doing and reduce the amount of friction for things that you want to do more of, like for you, for example, moving those clips right into their respective folders right away.
Yep.
Right after stream, so that way, hey, I already got it kind of sorted out. Now I don't have to sift through it. Because even something as simple as that, when I don't do it, and I have to, it's just an incredible amount of friction just for me to want to go back into that folder and dig through and figure out where it was, especially if more than a day passes, because once more than a day passes, you have so much recording done that you're just like, especially if you download a whole stream, like unless you clip it or you timestamp it on notes or something like that, trying to go through a full stream to find out that one clip that you had that was so funny at the time that now you have to, you know, kind of spend half hour to an hour skimming through a whole stream to try to find it. That's enough to make somebody not do it.
Do you not replay buffer your shit?
No, I replay buffer.
Oh, okay, good. I was just making sure.
No, that's why I'm getting better.
Okay, like, good.
I probably got the replay buffer about like 6 months into streaming, and then you know, then when you record a lot, then the next thing you know, you run into issues of like, oh man, I don't have that much storage on my space. I need to throw stuff on the cloud. There's a bunch of little things that definitely need some improvement, but even though thank God I replay buffer. Oh my God,
dude, that would be horrible. It would be impossible. I wouldn't have clips. There's no fucking way you're gonna get me to go back and watch an entire stream again, or even scroll through. I'm good. Oh God, I'm already exhausted thinking about it. So then, let's workshop. What's 2 to 3 things you could do with your content to reduce that friction?
Honestly, it's probably doing what you said, but doing it with discipline, and that's as soon as you're done recording the content, getting it into appropriate workflow folders to attack uh, immediately, because either attack immediately or like within 24 hours, really.
Yeah.
Because while it's fresh in your head is when you have the idea, and being an idea guy,
Yeah.
when you're infatuated you're infatuated at the thought of it, because you're like, yeah, man, that fucking clip, I'm gonna turn this one into this, I'm gonna put this song over, or I'm gonna voice over it with this line, and it's gonna be so funny. and then so just trying to extract the clip from the content, whether you're recording it on stream or doing it off stream, get it in a appropriate organized folder on your workspace. That way, if you come back the next day or you come back after a break, you're going straight into that folder and you're going to work on it. That'd probably be one key there. A second one would be going into streams, kind of having going into streams, having an idea of what you're gonna do today, other than play, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, because it's very easy to just mindlessly play with friends and enjoy your time, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people just
You can get great clips with the homies too.
Correct. But like, if you really want to do content, and like I talk about more than I've been about it up to this point, but honestly, just going into it with kind of like a preemptive plan of like, today I'm gonna run, I'm gonna ruin everybody's day with a Tonfa and a Riot Shield, and I'm gonna get me so many clips, or today I'm gonna play subs. I'm gonna play with my subs on custom Modern Warfare and knife them all. Like,
yes,
like,
you're speaking my language.
Yeah, exactly. Because I watch your content.
Yeah,
thanks. And then like, whatever it may be. I think another, idea would be to just have an idea of what you're trying to get today, because it's way easier to make content out of something that's planned than hoping that you hit a magnificent, like putting the pressure on yourself to, obviously you do it, but like, it's not always going to come. At least if you could have at least one goal for the day that you're trying to accomplish with the stream, whether it be clip wise, that puts you so far ahead of getting it done than, just kind of winging it and seeing what happens.
Are you one that struggles to work at home? Like, when it comes to offline stuff?
I used to. I think I still do. Just because social media. I think.
Yeah.
Social media definitely. I can fall into doom scrolling a lot.
Oh yeah.
We used to have cable and stuff like that, and like watching TV. But I think that's one good thing that we've really gotten rid of. Just when it pertains to work, is kind of watching TV or watching cable or stuff like that. Obviously, it doesn't mean that we don't watch it at all, but
oh yeah,
every once in a while, when we want to take a purposeful break, then we'll go watch Netflix, hang out with the dogs or whatever. But like, me not having access to that has helped. Probably I would say probably the hardest thing would probably be is kind of like, when you have a brain like ours, that's pretty scattered.
Oh yeah,
we tend to we might have a task in front of us that we really should do, and we'll go into every single social media app to figure out how not to do it.
Oh yeah. There's always 37 other things I can be doing.
Yeah. Like so I think that the most difficult part is really just deciding on one thing and doing that one thing to completion, because you think that you can multitask everything, but you really can't. And and studies have shown that multitasking actually reduces your productivity by like 40% or something like that.
Yeah.
So, being easily distracted, I think finding a way to finish things through completion helps. I think one way I've kind of done better with it is I do keep a notebook on my desk.
Nice.
And I was doing pretty good the first probably like 4 months of the year. I kind of fell off after subathon and a few other things that added a bunch of things to my plate. But keeping one thing that I recommend people do, whether it's at their workplace, depending on what kind of work you do, obviously, or at home, is usually before bed, before I call it a night, I like to write down at least 1 to 3 things, or at least I'll write down the things that I want to get done the next day.
Nice.
But I'll asterisk or highlight 1 to 3 things that I need to get done that day. The rest of them could be floaters that carry over day to day. That's like, hey, you just gotta get this done, by soon or by X week. But I usually try to get like 1 to 3 things written down each night before bed that I want to attack the next day, and that helps me tremendously when I'm trying to kind of avoid doing anything. When it's like, if it's clear cut written down on my notebook, then I know it has to be done. But if it's more like, let's get a clip out, like if that's my note, right? If that's my note is let's get a clip out tomorrow, like, okay, well, shit, where am I gonna start? You gonna
Yeah.
But if you're like, let's get this clip out of the Riot Shield game where I got 7 kills and that guy rage quit and he yelled in my ear, like, it really has to be that descriptive sometimes in order to kind of get, to get the point across and enough for you to immediately be able to work on it. Otherwise, if you just write, just get a clip, there's too much friction. There's too much friction there, at least for me personally, to be like, okay, shit, I gotta go open up this folder. Now I gotta dig through the stream and find, or dig through the clips, because I didn't pick one that I wanted to do already.
I was gonna say, how many clips are you making per stream?
Not too much. Well, when those snake shots came out, I got
yeah,
so
that's
many
fair.
clips. I had so many. I have like 20 clips, and I'm like, well, let's kind of narrow it down to like the 3 best ones and merge them together or something. So like, but now I have them all sitting in a folder, and they're probably mixed in with other events that happen in the stream, and because I didn't pick those 20 clips out, let's say I don't know, that stream I took like 30 clips. Let's say, just because I didn't go through and watch each one real quick to pick out only the snake shot ones and put them into a new folder, that's probably gonna sit there for a while until I do that part. That's probably the hardest part to do, really, to get going.
How long do you make your clips?
They're a minute, dude.
Oh, okay.
At first they used to be the default 30 seconds, but I made them a minute just in case I have to, because sometimes if you're like in Warzone, you have like a 1v3 or 1v4, and it takes kind of like some time to kind of play out. I don't want to worry about merging two clips.
That's so when
How
you're
long are yours?
2
minutes?
Yeah, just in case, because that way I can have
even better.
I can maybe have like 4, I can clip one thing 4 times and then go back to the final one and realize, oh, I have the previous 3 in this. Cool. Mm-hmm. Delete the last 3. Boomtown. Do you sit and watch the whole minute, or do you scroll to the end, to the good part?
So usually what happens when we take clips is we usually clip it because something happens closer to the end.
Yep.
Right. And it's backtracks, right? Especially when you have 2-minute one, right? Or even me, in my case, 1 minute. Yeah. I'll usually scroll to like the last 15 seconds or so just to see why I clipped it. Cause that's usually your trigger was whatever happened at the end was your trigger to clip. So
yep.
Then you'll have and if you do it the same day, like a good boy, then you'll vividly remember what happened that stream. If another stream or 2 goes by, my brain is not going to remember. I mean, it'll bring back a memory, but it's not as vivid, and not as, you don't get that same excitement after so much time has passed doing it. So it may hinder your motivation to do it as much. Same thing like when you edit.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, I don't know what type of laptop or anything you have, but does the idea of clipping everything and getting everything done at a Starbucks, does that sound frictionless, or does that sound like more friction? Because I know that going to a putting all my I have a hard drive, I have a good Mac to edit. I literally, the second stream is over, copy everything into a 2 edit clips thing on my hard drive, take my hard drive out, put my laptop in my backpack, and drive to a Starbucks. And I'll just get everything done.
Idea. No, that actually could be a good idea, honestly.
I also know I don't
'Cause-
have a partner to run away from, so I don't know how Ashley would love you just running and leaving after. But yeah, that has helped so much because I feel like a useless piece of shit if I'm sitting in a Starbucks lobby just scrolling on my phone. Like it's like, okay, I enjoy it enough to work,
little
but
public shame.
yeah, but I just want to get out of here. I want to finish this, and it makes it so easy. So I didn't know if leaving your space would be something that would be more daunting or something that would help.
Suggestion. No, I think that's a good suggestion. My thing's all on my PC, so I would have to, or well, actually, no. As long as I transfer it to like my cloud or whatever, or an external, like you mentioned, then I could probably do that. I'd have to dust off my laptop though. The laptop's been sitting there since my first 6 months of streaming.
Oh shit!
When I switched to PC gang, my PS4 and my laptop. So
do you think you'd be able to handle it?
I don't know. It's probably got like, I don't know, a 680 graphics card. I'm not sure. Whatever it was a top of the line graphics gaming computer like in 2020. Maybe it should handle some
I love how
editing,
you said
I think.
6 years and it's been barely 3.
Yeah. Did I say 6 years?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it says it's like a 680, like a like an Nvidia graphic. I don't know what the graphics card.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, not 6 years.
That's hilarious, dude. I love that. I like
that suggestion.
Yeah, of course, man. I'm always trying to help ADHD friends, and that was something that helped. And then I realized that eventually I didn't want to go to Starbucks, and I just liked the different. What I realized was the idea of it not being my office was what I needed. Like I was already sitting in this room staring at this computer for 6 hours. The last thing I wanted to do was come back in here and do that. So that's why my Starbucks, quote unquote, if you will, is my living room. It's like it's different enough, and I don't get that distracted. That's a lie. I can get distracted. So there are times where I would probably be more productive at a Starbucks. But yeah, it's just it's switching it up to, again, avoiding that friction of I don't want to sit on my fucking computer again and do this. But holy shit,
you've just been at it the whole day, and it's like like you kind of you need to change a scenery, or you need something to change. Basically, you can't. Things cannot be stagnant for too long, or else you will lose all your attention and motivation.
Yep. So that's
no, I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course. And dude, that's all I had. Like that was I appreciate you for taking the time. I don't know if you have anything that you wanted to touch on that you didn't, but I'm so thankful that you took the time and to even be able to talk to another ADHDer and figure out how we are able to get that motivation and create those habits that we actually are able to stick to. Like even the fact that you mentioned the writing down the journal, like that's every single night. Granted, I don't write it down, but in my head, I will go, okay, at 5:30, I'm doing this. At 6:30, I'm doing this. At 8, I'm doing this. I start stream at this. Then I'm going to work on that. Like I go through full detail. So my brain is fully prepared for what I'm going to accomplish. And that helps so much.
Yeah, I think, yeah, going back to the notebook thing, that's when I'm hitting my stride. And then obviously when I notice that when I'm slipping off is when I'm skipping days.
Yeah.
Kind of like gym, but like
we
it's
don't
more of a mental gym for me. I think the idea of writing it down is honestly because our minds are restless and that there's so many things going on through. At least for me, a majority of my thoughts are going through my head right before I go to bed. So I feel that when I write a few things down, it's impossible for me to forget them. So I'm not worrying about them while I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep is another huge thing too, though. I do recommend for everybody.
Is actually get some.
The whole saying of sleep when you're dead, and don't buy it. Me and Ashley. Well, Ashley loves her sleep, but like I take pride in trying to get, at least 7 to 8 hours every night.
Oh yeah.
And one thing that I have been trying to improve, which is why we started doing this morning gym thing, is I do want to wake up and go to sleep around the same time every night, because sleep consistency and sleep duration are two very critical health factors. I have a Whoop. I don't know if you've heard of Whoop before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like a biometric tracker thing, but tracks like your sleep, your strain, and your
like quality of
like your
recovery.
Your recovery.
Yep.
Recovery. Yeah, so like I could definitely vouch doing that, and not having too many late night outs, drinking.
Are you guys
Definitely
big
help.
evening festivity people?
No, not at all actually. But every time I do go out, it takes me like 2 or 3 days to recover.
Yeah.
I'm getting old.
Yeah,
So
dude.
like, yeah, no, I try not to drink. Actually, doesn't drink at all actually. And then
I knew I
just
liked her.
drink. I just drink once in a while. So that's also good. Sleep's good. And just trying to build a routine that you can stick to that isn't too daunting.
Oh yeah. If you make it something that you're not going to enjoy, then it's going to be impossible to stick to. But it's like I love just being in bed by 9:30, waking up at 4:45. Like it's so perfect. It's so great.
Go get that sweat in.
Yeah, just get sweaty all over a bunch of humans in the morning, and then get jacked, and then sweaty again in the sauna. I should say lift. That sounded bad. But yeah, dude. Seriously, thank you for.
No, thank you. I hope I didn't take too much of your
You
time.
never. I literally plan to have as long as we want. So you're so good.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you.
Of course.
Thank you again.
Where can everyone find you, by the way, if they want to get some BikeyMrown in their life?
Yeah, so if you want to know anything about me, I'm literally BikeyMrown on all socials. I actually have a website that has a link to all those. It's just BikeyMrown.com. So there I have some merch and all the links to my different social channels. Pretty much everywhere it's at BikeyMrown. I've been fortunate to land out everywhere.
Well done.
Luckily, I Googled BikeyMrown, because there's at least 10,000 Mikey Browns in the world.
Yeah.
Only one BikeyMrown.
I'm surprised no one thought of that, honestly. Like that's easy
right?
to think of just switching the letters, but they're like, no one would do this. That's ridiculous. Enter you. And now you get all of them. I'm so mad. I have to be I Got Puppies Gaming on Instagram because someone who hasn't posted since 2015 is I Got Puppies.
I know, that's the worst.
So
I think
stupid.
One day you'll hopefully they'll deactivate one day and you'll be the captain everywhere.
Yes.
But yeah, at BikeyMrown everywhere. And if anybody's interested in golfing, I injured my thumb like 2 months ago, so I haven't been able to do any sort of golfing. I'm gonna try tomorrow actually for the first time in like 2.5 months. But I did launch some golfing stuff on IG, TikTok, YouTube, I believe. And that one's just BikeyMrown Golf. If anybody's interested in golf, hopefully I'm trying to get that one up and going. But just like with everything, at the end of the day, between two ADHD brothers, produce, and nobody will know. You can produce everything in your head and enjoy it to the fullest, and laugh to yourself and think of how cool it is. But if it never gets out there, you'll never know.
Dude, I love it. Couldn't end on anything better. Seriously, you're a champ. I thank you. Send my love to Ashley.
Thank you.
And I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, man. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my non-binary friends, that was a beautiful conversation with the one and only BikeyMrown. I had no idea that he was riddled with the ADHD like I am. And I can only, I imagine, I remember what dealing with that was like before I was on meds. So I can only imagine how it is without it. So that's, dude, I love him. I love Ashley. I love what he's done. So I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. I hope you guys were able to take something away from it. And I thank you guys for listening. This is going to be the end of the podcast. So I appreciate you. Please do me a favor. Drop a like, sub, comment, write a review wherever you're listening to this. It would mean the world to me. Also, sub to the podcast, again, wherever you're listening. New episodes every Monday. I appreciate you. I love you. And we will catch you on the next one.